Hi, Gaz Williams here, music technologist, bass player, producer, all that gumph, here with the Super Gemini for the first time. Now, I'm really excited about this because I'm a huge fan of the Super 6. In fact, I bought one and it's pride of place in my studio, something that I play daily. So I was really keen. This is the first time I've actually seen it. I didn't make it to Super Booth this year, so I'm actually this is literally the first time I've actually seen it up close. Things that I'm really excited about is poly aftertouch. I wish that was on the Super 6, but it's not. So this is I think makes a lot of sense, especially with the dual layer, and this touch strip as well is also an exciting thing. But yeah, it's what's really dead apparent to me is that it's presenting so much potential at me. That is exciting because the Super 6 takes you on these journeys. Every time you sit with the Super 6, then you go off on a journey, and that's exactly what I love. I know George was quite specific about going down the no display route, and we see that on this as well, no display, which, controversial point, but personally, I love that. I think it's really good. That lack of abstraction in that this thing of what you see is this explorable panel without tons of sort of hidden features. Hello.
Hey.
So I'm looking at things now, and I just wondered if you could actually just point out to me what's different. So I'm looking almost like is that a complete Super 6 then in that layer?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much. The analog is slightly different for this instrument. Just wanting to change things a bit. It's not better or worse. It's just slightly different.
But it means we still got an independent filter on each voice.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got analog filter, an analog mixer, and analog VCAs, etc. But very much the same thing. So the same character, certainly the similar control layout.
Yeah.
But with a few extra controls because we've basically got a bit more space, haven't we?
One of the things I really like...
I missed out the cup holder.
Yeah. One of the things I really like with the Super 6 is the fact that the oscillators, although you've got the same kind of oscillators on the two, but they're actually different, aren't they? You've got on the Super 6, you have the...
Yeah, they're different. They're different designs of oscillator. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, do we have then? Are these identical pairs then?
Yeah. So both layers are basically the same.
Okay, that's cool.
So yeah, and inside you've actually got 2 whole channels of analog, 2 whole channels of effects.
Yeah.
They are really 2. Yeah, Gemini's the twins. You've actually got whole twin engines basically. There are no limitations in sort of duophonic or dual modes, if that means. It's like when you add them together, you don't somehow get less.
Yeah, okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay, so this idea then with the 2 layers, we can create splits and we can layer the 2 layers and sort of
absolutely.
Upper and lower.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we've got our manual.
Yeah. So you can just pick up the controls exactly where they are. And crucially, I guess the difference between the Super 6 is your aftertouch here.
Yeah.
I don't know what noise we're making.
So we've got poly aftertouch.
This is just a single sort of, I think, what we're listening to. So the aftertouch obviously makes a big difference. Separate outputs
for the layers, but also mix outputs as well.
Yeah, mix output and the sort of master volume control here. And you've got independent level controls for the layers here.
Right. And then I see we've got 2 sends here for the delay. So like a master delay and then independent sends for the...
Yeah. It is actually 2 independent delays. I think what we'll do is we'll have an expert mode, which you can just turn on and off. Because I personally like just having 1 delay with 2 cents. But like things always split down the middle in our world. But when somebody says, no, I just want absolute control of everything all the time. Yeah. And in another school, which is just like, well, actually, I find sometimes the extra control a bit of a hindrance. But you see, that's one of the few controls that's like not duplicated, if you see what I mean. Yeah. So you have got 2 delays, and at the moment, as it is, you've got 2 independent delay times, which is kind of fun. we actually set that up, we put a bit of delay in there, and maybe make the top layer a nice long delay, and then maybe make the bottom layer, if we've got sound in the bottom layer. You can get some interesting soundtracky type effects.
Yeah, lovely. So I'm seeing. Oh yeah. I'm seeing that the navigation then is really familiar to me from the Super 6. Like most things here, and the mod matrix.
I should hope so, because you're just going to get let loose on it in a minute, and we're going to record you.
Yeah, see how actually rubbish I am.
So a complex technical piece of equipment that you've never touched before. You're going to be made to record it publicly.
Oh, don't mind. So one of the really cool features with the Super 6 is this decoupling the left and right phase, and I can see that we can do it with both.
Yeah.
So we could get something quite nice going on with different rates with our.
Yeah. If you just play some notes and I'll fiddle around with it. Bear in mind that we've just started with the Init Patch.
I mean, when I can be bothered, I go through the controls and set it to match what the Init Patch would.
Should we do that quickly?
Let's do it. So I'm guessing we go organ.
Just literally pull everything down to the bottom. I literally just take all my fingers like that.
Yeah.
Everything goes to the bottom.
Everything to the bottom.
Everything.
Yeah. And then just whack up sustain, perhaps.
Amplitude. Well, actually, VCA sustain. So you just put the filter sustain.
Oh, sorry, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. If you just do that one, then the actual level of the thing, and then the cutoff up, and then on sawtooths.
Yeah.
And then you've only got one mixers.
Yep. And we can test out. If we hit manual, it should be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent.
There you go. And your jumping off point.
Yeah.
Which to be honest, it's a very sophisticated instrument, but it didn't take too long, did it?
No.
Yeah. And I think that's the key thing. You want to be able to go from, 80 or 90% of your sounds you want to get to in sort of like half a dozen moves. It sounds like the starting to a chess game, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm doing this particular opener.
This
opener.
Well, let's see if we can get to checkmate then. 20 voice then.
Yeah.
So rather than I was thinking it would be 24 voice.
Yeah.
What's that?
I mean, how many voices do you want, Gaz? I tell you what, if I made 24 voices, you'd be like, well...
I was only merely thinking
really,
that.
It's 32. Don't you really want 32? Like, I mean, it's for engineering reasons. I always think that, like, I could almost do a little, like, I'm not going to get into a lecture about how I see Montez. I think part of the problem with a lot of technology we have these days is that things are just done. We've almost got limitless capability. You can have about 50 plugins on one track and tweak it, but sometimes actually the best engineering, in my mind, just by opinion, is the one that's balanced to what you want to do.
Yeah.
So having neither too many nor too few. Basically, if you haven't got slightly too few voices once in a while, you've probably got too many most of the time. So, this. All right. If you're not careful with an instrument like this, you get carried away and it becomes overwhelming and it becomes too expensive. 20 voices.
I suppose if you're doing a split though, and you're running it binaurally, or 5.
Then you're down to 5 and 5.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've tried to be very clever about how we assign the voices though as well. So I've been playing around. This is actually for the Super 6. It's going to go in the Super 6 first. We've got a smart new method of choosing which voices are reallocated. So it's very, very hard to actually figure out that you've run out of voices on the new implementation that we've built.
Okay, clever.
I'll let you play around on that on your Super 6 and let me know how you get on.
Okay.
But to be honest, if you want lots and lots of voices, put it in 20 voice mode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want lots and lots of depth, put it in dual mode, binaural. So it's kind of like flexible.
Okay.
But,
let's talk about this strip then. So, because I think this is quite interesting. This ribbon, it's sort of a bit bigger than I've seen before, sort of in terms of.
Oh, it's got to be. Yeah, we had this specially made for us.
Right. Oh, right. It is.
Because if you think about that bit,
yeah,
it's got to be that bit size. Hasn't it? So you've got to be able to do that, basically. But obviously, it lets you bend.
So it's all proportional then?
Yeah.
And where's the control system for that? Is this the destination? Where are we looking?
So you've got a switch here.
Oh, there's your
upper,
switch.
lower, both.
Oh, okay. Great. Yeah. And so... Okay, because I'm late. I've got the layer going on. So I suppose we can set the split point.
Yeah.
And so what we do, we'd hold it and hit a split point.
Yeah. That's what you do. So
it's like that. And so if I go down here, let's give that one an octave.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. So this would be my top layer.
Yeah.
This is my lower layer here.
Yeah.
Okay, the colours are really helpful, aren't they?
Yeah,
sort of
it's at a glance.
At a glance, yeah. Great. Okay, so this is exactly the sort of situation I could just like work on what I would do like with my Super 6 here, and then I've got another one to do here. Yeah. That's
great for building up. I mean, should we sort of like build something up?
Yeah, let's do it.
You playing on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you hold some notes at the top, you've got an interesting keys, unless you want to play organ.
It's just like
What sort of thing do you want, Gaz?
Well, I like one of the things I really love with my Super 6 is those kind of almost sort of electric piano sort of tones, soft, round, and like really nice.
Okay, yeah. What I would do, let's start with single. If you want a simple electric piano from our starting off point, you want to go the simplest way, super modes off, simple bit of envelope here, little bit of piano. Once the piano envelope is about that, something, I think, slightly reduced release, maybe the same on here, some key tracking, no portamento. Just a tiny bit of delay. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. It's quite piano-y, isn't it? Electric piano Genesis used to use in the 70s.
Add a bit of noise if we're doing E piano, because they were always noisy. Have I got a loud noise setting? Yeah.
And does the sustain pedal then work across both layers, or do you have two sustains for the layers?
The sustain pedal will have, you've got two pedals or one pedal, depending on your mode, but there's two pedal inputs for two sustains. That's quite nice, Gaz.
Yeah.
And then if we give you a little bit of amplitude variation, and then phase that. Yeah. So these are all sounds that you've heard before, but in a presentation that you're not used to. So the sound has a certain kind of quality to it. Quality is a controversial word, but it has a character to it that you won't have heard before. So it's at once familiar, but also, kind of new.
It's got that really nice, inviting, warm bottom end. The Super 6 has got.
Try articulating one note now.
So when you're running it split and with poly aftertouch, both layers can be sending poly aftertouch.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. With independent controls here by your left hand. So why don't we build you up now?
Yeah.
You release. Let's put on the bottom. You keep playing, Gaz.
Okay.
On the bottom, I'm going to build up another sound.
Oops.
The sound you're going to have here.
So what I would like then is, I'd like to be able to have like this like stringier, and I'd like that to sustain with the sustain pedal, and then I'd like this not to sustain with the sustain pedal.
You can absolutely do that. I think we've only got the sustain pedal plugged in one side, but yes, you'll be able to do that. What I quite like to do is, if I set the release, the attack's quite slow. Let me just play, I'll show you. And you should be able to. Draw you up. Do you see what I mean? I find that's a nice way of playing.
Yeah. So should we get some of that sort of binaural spread on the go as well?
Should give you a nice wide stereo sound, which is a mixture of your keys on the top. I take off some of the bottom end of the strings.
I was wondering how much you were influenced by having the desktop module and the keyboard of the Super 6, because I've seen you perform like that, and this feels like to be was that an influence in the design of this?
Absolutely, yeah. It was just so nice having the two together, and the binaural synth engine and the sort of stereo oscillator core and its channels mean that the two sounds mesh very well together without fighting each other. Whereas if you had a kind of straightforward mono signal path without that movement, it would be more difficult to do.
Because they're always moving, so they're not
so
getting on top of each
your
other.
brain can pick them out. I think it's best we just let you do a little performance now, guys. We've set you up on a sound, now it's all yours.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. So I think it's really lovely knowing that you can just get the different expressivity, being able to just do these little things. I was enjoying little things like that are really fun, but also the poly aftertouch, being able to dig in and sort of feel that allows that expressivity to come out, which is very immersive, and then that's what gives you that. Oh, it's very playable. It's a lovely key bed. One thing I love with the Super 6, and it's true of this, is it's fast. It's a fast, even though I've got slow attacks on here, it's just responsive. Everything is responsive, and the controls are responsive. I know that it doesn't do pickup; it does instant jump, which is a thing that some people like. I personally really like that, because when I go to my control, it just instantly becomes what you want it to be. So I think that helps with that sort of immersiveness. And it's just this warm, lovely, warm quality as well. It just gives it that. There's a direct connection. There's a connection between the person and the instrument. And I don't think you can ask for more than that out of a keyboard. It's nice going to 61 as well. I'm used to the 49 keys. I think it makes a lot of sense with the dual layer. And it feels, I think it's 73 or something would be just, I don't know, this feels just right size-wise as well. Yeah, it's lovely.